I'll be so bad, but I'm a brat. My rock and my fortress, please give me strength to follow you. Whatever opposition I face, okay? In his anguish, David turned to God, his rock of refuge. Psalms 31:2. God heard his cry for mercy, verse 22, and delivered him from his enemies, verse 8:15. He hears our cries too and offers us eternal reward for our faithfulness and perseverance. James 1:12 tells us, blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. Therefore, we're encouraged to stand firm, always giving ourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because our labor in the Lord is not in vain. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Period. Okay, for this reason I say to you, all the things that you ask when you are praying, believe that you will receive them and they shall be given to you. The soul who gives generously shall be made prosperous, and he who waters shall also be watered himself. Yeah, Proverbs 11:25. I'm like, we had already read that one. It was still stuck on me. Okay, Proverbs 11. False balances. Okay. Proverbs 11. False balances are an abomination to the Lord, but a perfect weight is his delight. When pride comes, then shame comes, but with the lowly is wisdom. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteous of the upright shall deliver them, but transgressors shall be taken in their own lust. When a wicked man dies, his hope shall perish, and all that he expected from his power comes to nothing. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, but the wicked comes in his stead. A hypocrite destroys his neighbor with his mouth, but through knowledge the righteous shall be delivered. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices. When the wicked are destroyed, there's joy. By the blessing of the upright, a city is lifted up, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. One who is void of wisdom despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding remains silent. A talebearer is a revealer of secrets, but one who is a faithful spirit keeps the matter hidden. Where there is no wisdom, the people fail, but the multitude of wise counselors, there is safety. He who is surety for a stranger shall suffer for it, but he who hates being surety is safe. A gracious woman keeps honor, and strong men retain riches. The merciful man does good to his own soul, but he who is cruel troubles his own flesh. The wicked makes a deceitful work, but one sowing righteousness has a sure reward. As righteousness tends to life, so one pursuing evil is to his own death. Those who are of a perverse heart are an abomination to the Lord, but the upright in the way are his delight. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. Like a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is the beautiful woman who is without discretion. The desire of the righteous is only good. The expectation of the wicked is wrath. There is one who scatters and yet increases, but one who withholds what he should give comes only to poverty. The soul who gives generously shall be made prosperous, and he who waters shall also be watered himself. He who withholds grain, the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him who sells it. He who diligently seeks good seeks favor, but he who seeks mischief shall come to him. He who trusts in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall blossom like a branch. He who troubles his own house shall inherit the wind, and the fool shall be servant to the wise in heart. The fruit of the righteous is like a tree of life, and he who wins souls is wise. Behold, the righteous shall be recompensed in the earth. How much more the wicked and the sinner. Let the potter work. Day 213. But now, O Lord, thou art our Father. We are the clay, and thou art our potter. We all are the work of thy hand. Isaiah 64:8. Where is the God who sent an earthquake into the valley of dry bones and put them together? Ezekiel 37. Or where is the God of clay who remolds the broken places and mends the jagged edge? Isaiah 64:8. If the truth were told, the God we seek is never far away. The issue is not so much his presence as it is my perception. Many times deliverance doesn't cost God one action. Deliverance comes when my mind accepts his timing and purpose in my life. How many persons needlessly died because they struggled in the water and finally drowned? We say they drowned because they couldn't swim. The real truth is many times they drowned because they couldn't trust. If they would relax, the same current that drummed them down would bear them up so they could float. It isn't always the circumstance that is so damaging to us. It is our reaction to the circumstance. The hysterical flailing and gasping of desperation causes us to be submerged beneath the currents of what will soon pass if we keep our wits about us. In my hours of cries, many times I found myself searching for the place of rest rather than for the answer. If I can find God, I do not need to find money. If I can find God, I don't need to find healing. If I can find him, my needs become insignificant when I wave them in the light of his presence. What is the problem if God is there? Even in the stench of Job's decaying flesh, he knew that his answer wasn't screaming out for the healing. He was screaming out for the healer. Do you realize the power of God's presence? I hear many people speak about the acts of God, but have you ever considered the mere presence of God? He doesn't have to do anything, but he is there. But be there, and it's over, baby. If I can find God, I don't need to find healing. Jesus. If that wasn't a word, bro. The hell? Okay. Did I already read this? No. What do you mean? I'm about to skip the beginning. You feel me, G? You already know. Straight to Genesis. What's today? So we was in chapter 10, right? What is it? It couldn't be. Oh, maybe 20? No, we read to 39. So I think it might be what, 40? Okay, we have to be around here somewhere. Has to be 39. Because the daughter-in-law, she played the whore, you know what I mean? By the man who's in, and she was like, I'm pregnant, so, you know, should acknowledge them. And said she had been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to say like my son, and he knew her again no more. So he basically apologized to his son, like, had I did the right thing and gave her just to you, then she wouldn't have had to come on to me and act like she was just some random broad and screw me out of the legacy and lineage anyway. So then, I'm pretty sure he bounced. But let's see. I'm going to read 39 first again, just in case we didn't read it. But I'm pretty sure we did. Anyways. 56, 38, 26, 39, 22, 39, 23, 41, 3, 57. Chapter 39. Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard of Egyptian, brought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. The Lord was with Joseph. He was a prosperous man. He was in the house of the master, the Egyptian. His master saw that the Lord was with him, and the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him. He made him an overseer of his house and all that he had put into his hand. It came to pass from time that he had made him overseer in the house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. He left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not that he had to save the bread which he did eat. Joseph was a goodly man and was well favored. It came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph. She said, Lie with me. He refused and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master would not want is with me in this house, and he have committed all that he have to my hand. So there's no greater in this house than I. Neither have he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How thee can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Came to pass as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. It came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. Yeah, because this is where she lies and said that. Okay, I'm going to skip that word. I feel like she should have got fucked up. But anyways, the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison. Whatsoever they did there, he did the door of. The keeper of prison looked not under his hand, because the Lord was with him in that. Okay, hold on. Okay, so it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke unto him, saying, After this manner did the servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. Joseph's master took him, put him into the prison, a place where the king prisoners were bound. He was there in prison. But the Lord was with Joseph, showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. The keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did there, he was with the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. Okay, chapter 40. It came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord, the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the bakers. He put them in the ward of the house of the captain of the guard, into the prisons, the place where Joseph was bound. The captain of the guard charged Joseph with them. He served them. He continued a season in ward. So they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream. The butler and the baker of the king of Egypt were bound in prison. Joseph came in unto them in the morning, looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. He asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? They said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, there is no interpreter of it. Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. And the chief butler told him his dream to Joseph, said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches. It was though it budded, her blossoms shot forth. The hustlers thereof brought forth ripe grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup. And I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Joseph said unto him, Hi, you two. Okay, so the chief butler told him his dream. to Joseph, said to him, in my dream, behold, the vine was before me, and the vine 3 branches. It was though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, the clusters thereof brought forth ripe grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. I took the grapes, I pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head and restore it unto thy place. Thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, and the former manner which thou hast was his butler. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make a mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me in the dungeon. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. The uttermost basket there was all manner and baked meats for Pharaoh. The birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head from thee, and shall hang thee on a tree. The birds shall eat the flesh from off of thee. Came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast of all the servants. He lifted up the head of the chief butler and the chief baker among his servants. He restored the chief butler upon his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him? Gee, should I read 41 or what? No? Okay. So I guess 41 is tomorrow. But I need to go back and do, yeah. From there. Okay, let's get into it, y'all. That was so dope. That was so dope.
Now, Mr. Fresco, you said you're here today because you've been having some dreams, correct? Yeah, it's like I gave my life to God a while ago, and it's like, ever since then I be having these strange dreams, like about something happening to me. And I always wake up and it's like between like 3 or 4 in the morning. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, the next time that happens, I want you to give it to God. Woke up and prayed to 3 like 4. Talking to God till I can't no more. Demons and lust knocking on my door. I don't care how it look, man, I ain't that bored. Sold out days and shows on tour. Lighting the music, it's in my core. Jesus looked at me and said, my boy, if they hated me, just know it's more in store. Devil run up, he get hit with a get burnt like a well done s'more. Ain't finna stop till I'm well on force. Calling me home, that's a well done more. If the Lord got a secret to say for sure, only say what's instructed, don't tell no more. Yeah, so I can't say no more. Hey, look, man, say no more. Yeah, we went from 0 to 100. None of my partners gon' hate, we all getting money. But we on one after we're in our hands and we losing our soul, and it ain't nothing funny. He used to come around, I don't care about the bunny. They come out the grave, but he already done it. If I preach on the mic, it's the life that I wanted. I wasn't back then, watch how I become it. I got partners serving, I just be praying for them at the service. I changed my ways, I used to lay up and sin like Kyrie Irving. I like my girl, fine, classy, and just a little bit nerdy. Vocal crazy, shouty, wordy, big ring, I'ma retire to Jersey. Woke up and prayed to 3 like 4. Talking to God till I can't no more. Demons and lust knocking on my door. I don't care how it look, man, I ain't that bored. Sold out days and shows on tour. Lighting the music, it's in my core. Jesus looked at me and said, my boy, if they hated me, just know it's more in store. Devil run up, he get hit with a get burnt like a well done s'more. Ain't finna stop till I'm well on force. Calling me home, that's a well done more. If the Lord got a secret to say for sure, only say what's instructed, don't tell no more. Yeah, so I can't say no more. Hey, look, man, say no more. God came through and I'm clean as a whistle. This first time I had to whisper. Broke up with sin, I can't even kiss. I just dropped me a song, man, I had to diss. If the devil be like it, then dog, let's trick. Like, jet my block, listen. Light in the dark, I can't even mix. Swap the old for the new, yeah, I had to switch. Yeah, I can't play with demons. Big old discernment, yeah, I seen. I know the devil fiend. God came through, did big boy clean. Yeah, old life, I don't need it. Living a whole new life, free. Shawty was cool, but she too mean. To follow the crowd, these days on leave. Woke up and prayed till 3 like 4. Talking to God till I can't no more. Demons of lust knocking on my door. I don't care how it look, man, I ain't that bored. Sold out days and shows on tour. Lighting the music, it's in my core. Jesus looked at me and said, my boy, if they hated me, just know it's more in